Check. Check 1 2. Check 1 2. Hello, hello. Do we have anybody in the chat? Greetings, Lily. Welcome in. Do you have any questions, comments, or criticisms? Any topics to talk about today in this public live stream? Anyone out there, any of you viewers right now that are in here, go ahead and ask away. That's what a public live stream is for. That's why I went public with this. This is not subscribers only. This is not members only. This is public. So especially I would like to see those folks that go into the comments field and have all kinds of stuff to say it now in the chat, in the live stream, and I can answer you whatever question you have right here, right now. You're welcome. You're very welcome. You know, maybe some folks don't know this, and maybe it bears repeating. When I first started publishing YouTube videos in February of 2018, what is that? 25, 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, a little over 8 years ago ish. I thought about doing live streams, but I was very insecure about my knowledge here. I was very unsure of myself. And I was afraid to go live because I was afraid I would be asked a question that I didn't know the answer to, and that I would be made to look foolish. Now, that's a very egotistical thing to say, but you would be surprised how many folks feel that same way. Matter of fact, they feel so strongly about it that they won't ask anything even in a comments field on a live stream because they don't want to look stupid. But I got over that pretty quick because I went into, well, I started teaching workshops. And when I first started teaching workshops in the beginning of 2018, my tutor, Raven-Farhad-Tohidi-FRN, I said to Raven, I said, you know, I'm not sure I'll have the answers, because Raven was telling me, you can do it. You know the stuff, you know the material. And a good way to solidify that knowledge is to teach it to someone else. You're ready. And I didn't feel I was ready, but he said I was ready, so I trusted him. And I said, what if I don't know the answer to a question? And he said, I'll be available. He said, if they pose a question to you that you don't know, just, shoot me a message and I'll answer it for you. I'll help you. It's like, okay, cool. I had a safeguard in place, which I didn't have to use in a spontaneous way, but I was surprised to find that when I started doing workshops, I didn't run into that problem. If there was a question that I was asked that I didn't know the answer to, I came to the answer literally in the now space at that moment. And that gave me the confidence to do live streams. I thought, why am I worried about looking stupid? Everybody's human, right? Everybody makes mistakes. So what's the big deal? If you're truly about that life, if you're truly about being correct, then you will possess enough humility to put yourself in a position where you could be wrong and be open to be shown where you're wrong and how to fix it in an honorable and graceful manner. And so that's what I did. And I started doing live streams, and man, there were no issues at all. No issues at all. I am completely 100% sure of myself that if anyone asks a question here, I'll be able to answer it. And if I don't know the answer to a question, I just say I don't know. But if it has to do with the grammar, I'm 99.9% sure that I will know the answer. And that's why I'm here. And that's why you see me doing live streams in the public on YouTube, and no other individual related to or associated with quantum grammar does public live streams. No one. No one. I don't care how many colons or hyphens they have in their name. Russell J. Gould will not do a public live stream. Guaranteed. I've never seen it. What's Rachel Dara Prince will not do a public live stream. Folks like that will hide behind a paywall on Patreon where they can easily control what's going on and who they're talking to and the narrative. Here in the public, I don't necessarily have that. I can't predict what's going to come up in the chat. So there you have it. That's why I do this. And I also feel like that's the reason why none of these, as Lily says, no trolls, none of these trolls will come on here to say anything in the comments, in the chat. I mean, the live chat. They won't say anything in the live chat because they don't want their username on YouTube, which is probably a nom de guerre, will be associated with looking stupid. Because I do have the live chat replay on here. I made sure I turned it on, quadruple A, if you're out there watching. I made double sure that I turned on the live chat replay so that all of you folks out there that watch this stuff in posterity will have access to the live chat as it happens. All right, so what else was I going to talk about today? Let's talk about, we can talk about current events or we can talk about grammar. There's a lot of current events going on, a lot of interesting things, a lot of, from a human perspective, I guess, a lot of sad things going on, right? A lot of stuff that, I tried to create a couple for the Quantum Grammar Shoot podcast or checks and balances videos about things like the ICE incidents where ICE is basically murdering U.S. citizens, unarmed U.S. citizens. But it just didn't sit well with me to put things like that out there. Because number one, I'm not there to see what's actually going on. I mean, I know how I feel about things like that, and I know how I feel about the whole thing, the legal system, because ICE is deeply, deeply ensconced in the legal system, is deeply ensconced in the bigger guns and clubs mentality, the might makes right mentality. Basically, so I am against the legal system. I'm not a fan of the legal system because it's crooked, it's rotten, it is not fair at all. It's the same reason why, the legal system, why I am not in favor of the death penalty, of capital punishment. I am not in favor of that. Why? For obvious reasons, because the legal system is flawed. How many people have been executed that were not guilty of anything remotely associated with murder? How many people? So it's the same thing with this ICE stuff. How many people that are being rounded up are not actually illegal people? Correcting the ID. A fraudulent ID. Well, here's the thing about the word fraudulent. And I've gone over this in especially, I think, especially in the video in the mini classes that I did years ago regarding the creation of a document contract postal vessel court venue. When you're stopping a trespass, like when I'm actually looking at stopping a bureaucratic trespass and I create a document contract postal vessel court venue using correct sentence structure, I will start out using the term fictitious conveyance of grammar, which is telling them that it's a fictitious conveyance of grammar. It's adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble. But if whatever I do at that point does not stop the trespass, then I will increase the pressure. And instead of using the word fictitious conveyance of grammar, I will use the term fraudulent. Fraudulent implies volition. Fraudulent is a much heavier, more potent term, and it implies malicious volition. So to say fraudulent ID, I don't know that I would use that term, because identification, first of all, is no contract. I use the term credentials in correct sentence structure. So to say fraudulent ID means, if you're going to use the synonym credentials, then that means that a credential is created with the express purpose of misleading someone about what their name is. And to do that, you would have to be making a claim for someone else, that for sure that was their intent and volition. And how would you ever really know that for sure? I mean, there is a possibility that you could know that, especially if they told you that. But with correct sentence structure, what you would do is, instead of telling someone else that they're using a fraudulent, that it was their intent to do that, you would show a damage after being able to prove that. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like the old the thing that David-WYNN Miller did, where he has the pencil and he goes like this. What just happened? And then someone says, "You dropped the pencil." He's like, "You can't tell me what I was doing. All you can say is that the pencil went from point A to point B, and in going to point B, it damaged you somehow." And then you would articulate the damage. And then in the process of that, if the trespass and the damage is not addressed, if it is not rectified, if it is not remedied, then you could say that it was a fraudulent performance of the pencil going from point A to point B, if that makes sense. It's all very psychological. Okay, does anybody... Oh, you say, "Google, get off my phone." That's kind of funny, because back in... I could actually look this up because I have the emails on file. I'm going to look this up. I'm going to go to a different screen, but you are going to be able to see me, but you're not going to be able to see what I'm looking at. I am going to look up when the email was sent. Okay. I can give you the exact date. Friday, August 23rd at 2019. I'm sorry, August 23rd. It was a Friday. 2019 at 9:46:16 p.m., which would, yeah, so let me get back to this screen. All right. August of 2019, I shared my personal cell phone number with Russell J. Gould. He wrote back and shared his personal cell phone number with me. We were supposed to get together and work together. We were on good terms. We were friendly. He was telling me stuff about his personal life and stuff that was going on then that I'm not going to get into now, because even if, whatever happened, whatever he says about me or whatever, I'm still not going to betray that confidentiality. There's no reason for me to. I consider myself an honorable and graceful individual. I'm not going to do that to somebody. Point being, August 23rd, I shared my personal cell phone number with the guy. He was supposed to call me. Ball was in his court. Long story short, after several attempts, several communications, he just stopped responding. I didn't just like he told me, hold on. He said, and I quote, "I'll call you within the 72 hours. We can caught up. Blessings." Russell J. Gould. Then he gave his cell phone number. So he put a timeline on it. Okay? He put a timeline on it, and he did not adhere to that timeline. And that was like the third attempt that I used to try and work with him, to talk to him back in 2019. And he just stopped responding. He violated his own timeline, did not keep the contract. No judgments here. Okay, I'm not judging. I'm just telling it how it is from my perspective, whatever the reason. And so I just done with it. No more. I'm not going to keep trying to get someone to talk to me, right? If they don't want to talk to me, or if they got stuff going on. I know life happens. But that's the story. I have the evidence. I just pulled it up. I have all this stuff on file. So all you trolls out there watching that are too afraid to put whatever you have to say, your thoughts, in the comments, I've been in this. I've been in communication with every single individual that you can think of that has some sort of name related to quantum grammar. I was in contact with David-WYNN Miller the last year of his life. I was in communication with Russell J. Gould via email. Mark Christopher, Mark lowercase k, starting in 2017, halfway through, I think, I was taking his 6-week tricks and traps course, because it was the only thing that was available that I saw. I was new. I didn't know nothing about it. And that's how I got to know Mark. And I started a communicative relationship with him through video meetings and whatever, phone calls, WhatsApp calls, until I realized that the dude didn't have closure on the grammar, didn't know the first thing about syntaxing, nothing. And you can even see that when he went to David-WYNN Miller's house in 2018, right before David passed away, and filmed all that video footage. He literally says that he doesn't know how to syntax. Not only that, and I'll say this in the public for the first time, and it'll probably fly right over a lot of people's heads, but my tutor, Raven, went to Marcus lowercase k Christopher's flat, sat across the table with him, and offered to teach him how to syntax, and Mark refused. Face to face. What are you going to do? But my point in sharing these things is that I'm not just some dude out here just throwing stuff out haphazardly. I've been in this for a while, folks. I've been doing this for a while. With 1,300 videos, there's got to be something there. All you got to do is look. Those of you that want to exist in La La Land, chased assumption, presumption, fantasy type stuff, who want to learn contract language, which is basically adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble, and spend hundreds of dollars, even thousands of dollars on that, go ahead. I mean, that's up to you. Everybody's on their own journey, on their own learning path. But if you want to learn correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar, this is the best place that I can think of. This channel with the 1,300 videos, or email me at jasonmatthewg17@gmail.com and apply for a workshop. It's that simple. Marcus Sean Christopher, by the way, is in prison right now. To the best of my knowledge, he's serving 7+ years for attempted kidnapping. I wonder if Mark's, whatever you want to call it, business is still active. I wonder if he still has followers that he's in contact with that are still carrying out his wishes while he's behind bars. I wonder if he's still is generating income some way. I have to imagine that he is. I have to imagine that he is. But I felt like, you know, he would advertise on his courses like learning correct sentence structure, communication, parsing, syntax, grammar was part of the course, when that's a flat out lie, because he didn't know correct sentence structure. So I thought, you know, how he's going to have to, karma is going to come around for that guy somehow, some way. So, and it did, obviously. All right. We're at 23 minutes. I am going to wrap this up unless someone has a grammar question or any other type of question. You can ask questions about anything you want. Live life claim, favorite volition claim, C-Pass-C treaty, port authority claim, domicile claim, any kind of claim. Anything you want to ask, feel free. You trolls out there that come into my comments field, grow a pair and challenge me here. Thank you for sharing your name. And also, thank you for the positive comments that you leave on my videos. I appreciate that. You know, I need to get a new cell phone. But I really want to get a cell phone that does not have some stupid AI program on it. And I know that's going to be next to impossible to do. AI literally causes me to get nauseous. And, you know, they call AI artificial intelligence. In the sense of the word intelligence, I mean, it sort of implies that it has a brain that can think like a human being, but that is not true at all. That is not true at all from my perspective. All it is an algorithmic compiler of data and a mimicker. It has really no creative flow to it. Human beings create. AI cannot really create. AI can only mimic creation. It can only mimic and amalgamate data or conclusions or creations. And I think that's why there is no AI program available right now that can create a correct sentence structure, communication, parse, syntax, grammar, sentence, nor can it syntax a paragraph correctly. If there is, show it to me. I double dog dare you, big triple dog dare you, because you won't be able to do it. Number one, you yourself would have to have closure on the grammar first before you can determine whether or not AI does. And I've messed around with AI off and on over the past few years, and there is not one AI program that can do quantum grammar at all. The most it can do is like the quantum gobbledygook that Russell J. Gould puts out there. That's about all it can do. And that's not correct sentence structure. That's quantum gobbledygook, fictitious conveyance, grammar, adverb, verb, adjective, pronoun, fiction, babble. And thank you very much for joining me. This live stream will be available in the live stream playlist section. Thank you, Lily, for all the chats. I appreciate it. And K Sarah Sarah.